Good afternoon from Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in sunny Lauderdale by the Sea. This is the pier about a couple blocks down from our beach here, and it looks like it's a nice day if you want to go out and do a little body surfing there. Beautiful weather, a couple clouds moving in, but mostly sunny and lovely clouds out there in the background. Well, let's go over our Friday wrap-up for precious metals here and take a look and see what's happening here. Overall, I think it's really good. We're looking at, it's above 1800. It's maintained above this $1,800 level. 1808 is what New York closed at. Looks like the world spot price, the world markets are still open right now on Friday. However, they'll close shortly as well, and they're maintaining it, that 18 plus level, over 18. Again, we've been down to, as you can see, 1796 here in the world markets, 1812. New York ranges a little bit closer, 1806, 1812, but we've maintained this $1,800 level. As I've said, I'm expecting some pullbacks. You always expect pullbacks, but if you miss these pullbacks, and sometimes they can be pretty dramatic too, but they'll shoot right back up quickly. If you miss them, don't worry about it. If you get them, wonderful. You just kind of cost average yourself down a little bit. But if you miss them, and don't necessarily count on them, sometimes these markets just rocket right past areas, like silver has done, for example. Silver, 1969 on New York spot prices. Again, a range of 1918 the low, 1968. She kind of just blew right through 19, past 1850, ignored that 1875 more or less, and ran through the 1900, and it's holding at that level. And it looks like over the weekend, a little weakness in the world spot price here on the close, it looks like, versus what New York closed at. However, it may have something to do with just New York being strong. If you look here, look at the range, 1896 in the world, 1942, whereas New York has a much tighter range on the low and a much tighter or a higher high at 1968 and closing higher than the world markets has. That might have something to do with COMEX markets having to make delivery on physical, or maybe something to do along physical delivery in the United States. Platinum doing well as well, up again, and similar ranges down here and similar ranges. So on the world market and the New York markets, platinum are trading pretty close together, not too far apart. And as I said, I'm a big fan of platinum and I'm a big fan of silver. I think both metals are really underpriced, and especially silver. Silver is 2.5 times less than its all-time high versus gold, which is only $150 away from its all-time high. And platinum is more than double away from its all-time high. Palladium, I don't care. And I joke about that all the time, but really, I hardly ever have anyone ask me about palladium, so I really don't look into it. And I'm not an investor myself, so I don't feel qualified to speak. However, I do know more than most people about where to get the product and where to get a real product for a good price, so never hesitate to ask me on palladium. Let's move along to the Wall Street Journal, because I always like to look at the Wall Street Journal as a guide to what might happen this week, when markets open Monday, perhaps. And again, there's things that you can read in the Wall Street Journal that will tell you, wow, man, that's going to blow up the price of gold tomorrow. It's going to cause the price of gold and silver to go up tomorrow. And I don't want to give you any examples of that. You could probably imagine some. And then there's things that really subtly tell you that gold's going to go up. Like, for example, job recovery shows sign of slowing as coronavirus surges. Well, I'm sorry, this is not benefiting from, when you're saying buy gold and silver and you'll benefit from people losing their jobs, there's a little bit of guilt there. On my part, there is, but I don't feel healthy saying that. But however, you and I and gold and silver did not create this job shortage and this big problem. I'm not going to go political. You can blame the politicians, you can blame the economy, you can blame the coronavirus, and maybe the combination of all of them. But no less, it hurts the economy overall. Nothing we can do except protect our monies. I'm not telling you to throw all your money in gold and silver, and I'm not telling you to throw any of your money in gold and silver, but I am good at I know about the product, and I've kind of recognized trends, and I'm showing you what I do. It's not so much I'm not telling you what you should do. However, make your own decision based on what I've said and what you know. So job recovery shows sign of slowing as coronavirus surges, and that's good for gold overall, because this hurts the economy. This just majorly hurts the economy overall, and that's good for gold and silver. And gold and silver is a good protection against that. And we're going to look down here, kind of the same thing. There's no difference. Covirus, same old SOS, same old shit. So let's move along here. Flying. This is interesting because you'll say, well, how does this affect gold? Well, same thing. It's not going to affect the price of gold next Monday or maybe even next Friday or anything like that, maybe the next couple of months. However, overall, that is horrible for the U.S. economy and the world economy. Flying, when people aren't flying, they're not traveling, they're not spending money. This is terrible for the economy. This is good for things like gold and silver. It is not good for the dollar because they'll have to print more of these dollars to bail out these airline companies and to bail out the travel agency and bail out the people that don't have jobs. And this is one of the reasons gold and silver is going up. So overall, this is this is just another brick on the pile for precious metals. And let's take a look what else is here. There's some other things, but you know what? I'm going to show you how to kind of read these lines, how I kind of do it, and you'll be able to do it yourself pretty easily at some point. The Dow drifting in that 26 range again. Let's see if it jumps back down to 25 or goes down to that range, which means that really it's just treading water, it seems to be. And with the amount of millions and billions of dollars being thrown at it and cheap Fed money too, and it's still bailing, just kind of treading water. Probably not a good sign. I bet the big guys are out or getting out already, and the only people left are the average guys, or the suckers, I guess they would call them, unfortunately. Let's take a look at this article too. Here, let me hit a no thanks right now there. Why silver prices are exploding. Avery Goodman makes some pretty good points here. I'm going to blow this up a little bit. Silver prices have increased by almost 60% since March 2020. Absolutely. What a great investment. A 60% return since when? March. Wow. I didn't even really wrap my mind around that. I guess he did the math and he's absolutely correct. It's done that well. The price increase has been driven dramatically by increase in physical demand. Absolutely true. We've been discussing this for a while, and it seems like prices are going up, and trying to source silver has been a big issue. You remember for the last couple of weeks I was talking about speaking to a friend of mine. I've mentioned a couple of times. He does large silver and gold deals, and once in a while we get large silver and gold deals as well. And he said, Brian, if you ask me for $5 million worth of gold, I could get it delivered to you tomorrow. But if you ask me for $1 million worth of silver, it could take me a week, and I probably wouldn't commit a price to you until I knew I had it coming. Now, silver is supposed to be at least, according to science, 17 or more, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down there, times rarer than gold. So there should be a lot more silver out there, shouldn't it? It should be easier to find physical gold or silver versus gold. However, that is not the case. It's not the truth. We're living in kind of a strange world, so maybe I flipped to a different universe. I'm not sure. However, that is the truth, and that's what's happening. Silver is much harder to find than gold. Go figure. And the price of silver is so much cheaper despite this. That's even stranger. I have a feeling silver is just going to take off and hit its all-time highs again, hopefully go past there. And all the silver bugs will get paid off for their perseverance and patience. If Indian silver jewelry exports have increased by 104%. Absolutely. Indians, but people mistaken this. Well, that's jewelry. Well, jewelry is different in India than it is in the United States. In India, jewelry is how they put their investment. They don't keep their money in rupees. They're used to inflation. Plus, they think gold and silver is a safe place, and I believe they're right. They've been around for 5,000 years. They probably got this right about money eventually. So for Indians, silver and gold jewelry is really an investment. And unlike the United States, silver and gold jewelry in India is fairly inexpensive. It doesn't cost much more than the gold price, almost like how we buy Krugerrands and Eagles here, where we have to pay a premium over the gold price. They do the same for jewelry over there. Now, the jewelry is a little cruder, and I'm not sure that it's as well made as Italian-made jewelry and some of the U.S.-made jewelry. However, it's got a smaller markup, and they buy it for a different reason. Jewelry here, huge markups. We don't buy it for investments. In fact, you plan on losing a lot of money, but at least you can melt it when you're done. But it's a whole different thing. So I wanted to explain that. Also, what's he say here? If physical demand continues, as prices likely will rise dramatically. Okay, that's something we've been saying for a while, so I won't repeat that. One of the things he brings up down here is I really like, and this is kudos to a friend of mine, Jeffrey, on one of the social medias that's kind of said this over and over, and he was absolutely correct, and I got to give him kudos if you heard this. Jeff, you were right. So the answer is simple, physical demand. Well, anyway, let me move down. they're talking about overwhelming physical demand will always defeat any commodity price manipulation if there isn't a minimum percentage of the commodity to back it up. And this basically is saying, you know, I've had discussions about precious metals being manipulated, gold and silver and platinum, and I think platinum and palladium for sure, you know, being the cartels that run them. However, I think that this is true with the precious metals market. I've seen stuff happen. We've seen traders get charged, and then, you know, I guess you throw enough money on it, their lawyers get them off. And then there's some traders that have been charged for manipulating prices of gold and silver that have been charged, but it's really not talked about much. However, this probably happens in the stock market, bond market, all kinds of markets, so it's nothing new. But I did really like this statement. You should repeat it to yourself. Overwhelming physical demand will always defeat any commodity price manipulation if there isn't a minimum percentage of the commodity to back it up. And again, this is very true. Take a look at it, pause this thing, think about that statement for a second. It's absolutely true. It's probably true in every market. Well, that has a commodity to back it up. Maybe those that don't, not so true. So thus, as if many believe silver prices are being suppressed, the things that are happening now will make continued price control impossible. And again, that just backs up the last statement we have. Take a read over this right here. If you got a moment, take a pause, and I think you'll get what I'm saying. And Jeff was right that the physical demand will defeat any commodity price manipulation in the paper markets. So rest assured that we'll probably be okay. Here's a site that I want to kind of point out to you. I like it. There's stuff on here. They have some interesting articles. Russia, income from gold export exceed gas sales profit. Not too much hype on here. Not too many people trying to sell you too much. Ted Butler, great guy. He's one of the silver traders that's been around for eons. I mean, he's got to be 100 and something years old. I don't really mean that, but I've been reading his articles for a long time. The guy knows the markets. And actually, if you ever read about Ted Butler, just type in Google Ted Butler silver manipulation. This is the granddaddy that wrote about all this stuff and tells you how it's done. However, I do like silverseek.com. But, you know, if you're buying and selling stuff, I appreciate it if you come and see me. Even if you see advertising on here, I'll treat you just as well. Well, anyway, I hope you have a great weekend. This is Brian Kuzmar from Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in Lauderdale by the Sea. We'll always treat you well, and we'll give you great advice. We'll sell great product. And you can call us anytime between Mondays and Fridays between 10 and 4. And we're here, consistent. Our hours are consistent except for holidays. You call us at 954-493-8811. There's a hokey-looking little picture of the corner of our store. Even though it's not that big, we do sell or pack a powerful punch from our little place. We also do other products, too. I'm not sure if you know this. We do have an antique and jewelry estate business that's separate from this. So we do buy gold and silver, but our primary business here in Commercial Rare Coins is coins and jewelry and currency and bullion. So call us or come by anytime. We'd love to meet you. Thanks for listening to me. Have a great weekend, and we'll go over Monday's markets when I talk to you then. Have a nice day. Silver prices have increased by some good bullet points here, and another point down here I want to point out. Lots of points. I'm in a pointy mood. Anyways.